Now, the flag bearer of the Ghana Union Movement, Christian Kwame Andrews, popularly known as Sofo Kyere Abosom, has charged chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Jean Mensah, to prove her neutrality going into this year's elections. This, he believes, will douse the perception that Jean Mensah intends to rig the elections for the governing MPP. He spoke to Joynews shortly after filing his nomination forms.
Ghana Union Movement, this is setting the ball rolling. You know, everything that needs to start with a step. It's a step that we have made. It's a test step, because the first one was to give us a first certificate, a second certificate, and now they are receiving our filing, a nomination, everything. I think it is a step to a victory for us in this 2020 election. And definitely we are going to beat NDC and MPP, and they will not come to power.
We'll come to NDC and MPP, but the question I'm asking is, I mean, you raised a concern about the credibility of the Electoral Commission.
Yeah.
Do you get the sense that the EC is biased or impartial? That
is what had been in the whole realm, that people have been talking about these things. The EC bosses are not all that truthful. They are people that they always support the party that brought them to the seat, and that is what I was alerting them, that they should be very careful to just be a fair play for all of us, so that Ghanaians are going to prove themselves.
So what is your own independent assessment of this commission?
In natural sense, it's good. They have done well. That is why even once I came after the registration, I came and congratulated them because they did well. I thought as it started, everybody was this very hooliganism that started everything. That I thought maybe there's going to be a trouble in the country, but they did it well and nothing happened. That's why I give them that very applause, and I'm expecting them to do the same as we are entering into the final election.
So Sofo Kyere Abosom has filed his nomination with the Electoral Commission. He filed it yesterday. He joins us in studio today. Thanks for your time, Sofo Kyere Abosom.
Thank you very much, my dear
How would you want me to refer to you, Mr. Andrews or Sofo Kyere Abosom?
Any of them, at all.
Okay, all right. So I'll use Mr. Andrews for now.
Thank you very much.
Okay, all right. So why did you decide, first of all, to contest the presidential elections?
When you look at the situation in the country, these two parties, MPP and NDC, have been with us for so long. And now, when you look at the situation in the country, things are getting worse. The promises that Nana Addo gave to us, he couldn't fulfill them. And concerning the NDC, the flag bearer, he did his part. I don't know why he's still looking for another opportunity to come.
Nothing bars him from.
Has he left anything at this thing, castle, that he want to go and take it back?
He himself has made the point that he made some mistakes whilst he was in power, and he's going back to.
Then he should advise us. He should come out and tell us the mistakes so that we will carry on. Is he alone that he can rule this country?
You're also saying that one of the reasons why you've decided to contest is because you don't think President Akufo-Addo has fulfilled most of his promises. He says he fulfilled about 80% of his promises. He says he fulfilled about 80% of those promises. So
both of them are now old. Nana Addo's mind is tight. He should go and rest, and for us to take the mantle, for us to bring this very country to a certain level that we.
What's your assessment of how this government has performed?
Nana Addo, I'll give him just about 25%. The even percentage relies on the free education that he brought, and if he didn't bring anything to that free education, because it was the money that we have already that he pumped into that free education. So what has he done? If you go ahead and tell us that we should take our water free, you have done this to nothing. Take electricity free. It is our own electricity that you are saying that we should take it. So tomorrow, if you are not at the office and we get faults, are they not going to put the same money on our bills to pay? What has he done? He hasn't done anything. Like when you come, you should go and maybe dig a ground and get gold. What was not there, you bring it in for us to know that you have done something.
So you're saying that he hasn't really done much, but he says, if you listen to quite a number of parents who in the past had to pay school fees for their children, who are no longer doing that, they have hailed the president and this government for introducing the free SHS policy.
You see, because they have not been able to see anything that can be compared to what Nana Addo is doing. If maybe Joynews comes out to compare what Nana Addo have done to other countries, what they are doing for the betterment of their country, they will get to know that Nana Addo have done this to nothing. You see, you are already paying the teachers. You understand? You've been paying the teachers already. You absorb their salary. So now, if you come out, now when you talk of the free education, it is a free whereby you not go to school with the 3 months you come and stay home. Even the money that the parents are spending on the children at their 3 months at home is more than the fees that you've been paying. Instead of you giving work to the parents to do for them to get a salary, a term you pay 2.5 million cedis or 25 to 50 Ghana cedi for each child, a term. And if you give a work to that very parent to be paid for maybe 1,000 Ghana cedis a month, the 3 months will be 3,000. He can pay his or her own school fees. Instead of you telling us that I've given you your free education while the parents are not working. Are you against
the principle of the free education policy, or you are unhappy with the way it has been implemented?
The way they are handling them. But the free education, if I come to power, even I'll start from crèche. Because you see...
You start from crèche?
Yes. That very young ones, we spend much on these very children than even those in
I've heard a lot of people, I think it was the PPP, say that they will start from kindergarten, but you're going further back. You're saying you'll start from crèche.
Yes, because you see, you need to take care of the pregnant women, as you have stated in the manifesto, that we are going to take care of the pregnant women in order to give them a good standing, and whatever they go to the hospital, we will pay. The government have to handle those things so that we can bring up the children in the womb in the way that we want.
Bring up the children in the womb?
In the womb, the way that we want. Then we're going to treat them equally. That you go to the hospital, you get a free treatment, whether a rich or the poor, because the government is taking care of every pregnant woman. So when the child is being brought forth to, you need to educate the child the way that you want to educate the child. So the child is for the country. It's for the nation, not for the woman or the man. That is the mistake that we are doing. So sometimes a child can be a very good asset for this country, but because nobody cares for the child will be just because he belongs to a poor family. So we need to care for our children so that we can get the benefit out of them to support our nation.
We'll come to the policies that your party is espousing for Ghanaians to decide whether or not you're a credible alternative. But what is your central message to the people of Ghana, even as you decided to contest this year's elections? What is your central message to the people of Ghana?
The message that I have is to give jobs to the people.
Job creation.
Job creation.
Okay.
Because you see, both NDC and NPP, their main idea is to give jobs to the people through the private sector, which I don't believe that. We don't have any foundation for our people. How many of them can have that very capacity?
Just to be clear, the NDC, well, in its policy, amongst one of its policies for creating jobs, they're going to be looking at regulating the Okada business, which a lot of young people are engaged in. They look to that as a source of income. So they're saying that they're going to regulate it and make it legal. The NPP also says that it's going to be supporting young entrepreneurs, young people who are doing their own businesses. What is GUM, or the Ghana Union Movement, going to do to ensure that we have more jobs in the system?
Ours is that the government should establish companies. You see, you want to go to Nkrumah's regime. Nkrumah saw that we need footwear, sandals, and the other. So that's why he opened Kumasi Shoe Factory. Why can't you revamp that very factory? Why can't you renew and bring back that very factory into that so that you're not going to depend on the foreign shoes that we buy in the country? And Nkrumah thought that we need to get clothes. That's why he started this very grammar and the others.
Government be going into business? Shouldn't it rather be creating an enabling environment for people to rather, set up businesses?
You see, if we create that very thing for the people have established businesses in the country, but still we are looking for jobs. Why do you have to, if you have the capacity of putting up a factory for your own people, why can't you go ahead and do it? But go and stand behind somebody who will collect the money and do a halfway and leave it abandoned. it is better you government start something. At least, even every region having one big company for the government, for the city, I think it will be better. You see, so you can absorb some of this thing, unemployment, this thing, so that the private sector can take care of the rest. If you want to depend on the private sector alone, we will reach nowhere, because we don't have that very capacity. We don't have that very a good foundation for our people. Look at the way you want your child to be a better person. Then you just go ahead and give somebody's money that just create a job for my child. You create a job, and tomorrow when the child goes to work and you give that very child a scanty money, small money, that cannot be right home about, then do you want to see progress of your child? No, you need to start something. The government living by example, by giving the people the job. You give them.
You talk about the government providing jobs for the people, but we've also heard the argument that, you know, public sector workers are not very productive, and that they don't spend a lot of hours being productive in their work, in their line of work.
Because of the politicians, because they always leave the place for politicians to rule them. Is it not the same people that are working for the private people that they are making in this country? They are the same people.
So how do you intend to make the public sector more effective?
And the effectiveness of it is that for us to punish those who go wrong. If you punish them, they will learn sense out of it. If you are
punishing them, how? Oh. By ensuring that they come to work late, because that's one of the arguments.
My dear, the whole thing is going to work from morning to evening. If I become a president, I will not allow that to happen.
Pardon? Say that.
You go to work from 7, you close at 12. Somebody, you leave the office, another person will go and take in charge of the office.
So people work half day?
Half day.
Under your presidency?
Yes.
Why?
You go and look for another work. It is not you alone that the office belongs to you. Somebody will come to work, you go to the office, you go there, you've gone for break, you have never come back. The door will be locked up. That's what is happening in the country.
Is that we need to change? We need to change. Problem?
Yes, it's one of the factors that I'm talking about. We need to change that very attitude. So if you are getting 3,000 or 4,000, then you go to the office and you do a halfway and get to 2,000, and you know that the 2,000 will not be sufficient for you. You look for another work to do. People will not be lazy.
So if I understand you correctly, if you are elected president, you will set up businesses, companies for people to work, and they will work half day.
You work half day, some will work hours.
Hours?
Yeah.
But not the full 9 to 5
I will never allow that to happen. Even you, we are going to bring a law that even the television station, radio stations, those who employ them will not have the authority to control their lives just like that. I
don't understand. Explain that further.
When you be employed here, your service is needed between 12 to 2. That's all.
12 to 2?
Yeah. If
just
your service,
2 hours?
Yeah. If your service is needed for 12 to 2, you are coming to just read news at the station. And that's the only thing that you do. And
you're going to enact a law to enforce this?
You coming to read your news and you close, and the employer don't have anything to do with you. You have your right to go and do anything elsewhere.
But that's not all I do on TV.
No, what I'm saying, when you go to certain radio stations and the others, that's what is happening. Because I brought you into this world. If I see you in any other radio station, I will just smash you from the work. That's what is happening in the country.
Interesting policies on job creation. What other policies are contained in your? First of all, have you launched your manifesto?
Oh, a long time.
Okay.
A long time.
All right. So
we did it in, I think it's in March.
In March?
Yeah.
Okay, give us highlights of
a free port. They want to bring free port. Togo is having a free port. And that very free port, they are still living and their country is progressing. Why do we allow our own people to go into that very poverty, whereby somebody buying a car of, when you bring Ghana's money, just about 7,000 Ghana cedi. You put it in a ship, just offshore here, then landing on your land, then you collect about 250 million, addition to the 70.
So you create a free port.
You create a free port.
Earlier you talked about how
old age benefits.
The present, we'll come to that, the present administration is handling the free SHS program, and you're saying they're mishandling it. In terms of education, what does your party intend to do?
Our intention is to, we are going for half day for theory and a half day for practical.
Explain that to us.
If, for instance, let's take maybe Kumasi girls, we decide to establish maybe a grammar type of sewing tied to Kumasi girls. So if maybe the number of people in the school are about 1,000, we are going to send about 2,000 into that school. 1,000 is in the classroom for theory, 1,000 in the classroom for theory, and another 1,000 will be in that very skills where they are learning how to sew the dresses and how to sew the suit of women and the others. And then when they close from 12 o'clock after break, they move to the theory side, and these people too move to the practical side. So every stream of that they will be in 2 sessions. You go theory, and the same thing that you are learning in the practical that you come and learn in the theory. You are not going to be, when you go and learn pi r square, railway line, how many times did Muslims pray? This doesn't bring anything.
So half day theory and half day practical.
That's definitely.
For all students?
All students.
For all subjects?
All subjects. And for every Friday will be going to be sports.
Everybody engaged in sports?
Everybody in the country.
Across the country?
Across the country, sports. From even the kindergarten. We are going to put, you need to start something.
Okay, let me understand. You're saying that every Friday, all that students in schools will do is sports?
Sports for the Friday. The sports include boxing, include maybe athletics, football. Yeah. The children will be trained. Your daughter will come to school, you wear clothes and start moving on in the ring.
Interesting.
So we bring all this in order to encourage people in the country, so that, and that very day too, it will bring so many this thing to the parents. Parents will go and watch their children at that very place, and also others too will give them work to do.
Interesting. Interesting. So, Sofo Kyere Abosom, we have to wrap this up, but look into the camera and tell those who are listening to you now and who are considering an alternative why they need to vote for you.
It's better you vote for Sofo Kyere Abosom. It's better you vote for me, especially in the area of old age benefits, whereby we are going to give a little assistance to those who attain 60 years because they cannot work anymore. Some of them their children are even dead. They have to support them. The nation have to support them. We have to bring back Nkrumah's factories, which have been abandoned in the bushes, so that we revive them and then bring jobs to the people of this nation. This is GUM, Ghana Union Movement. NPP and NDC has failed us all these years. We are not going to continue to vote for them. I want you to change, renew your mind, and take a decision to bring GUM to power for us to just progress in this very country. Thank you very much.
Thank you.